So we has volunteered to do leg and footwork on the Guillotine Tower. Thank you, we. Yeah. And he has tight back line, so tight hamstrings, also tight hip flexors. And this is a wonderful place to develop both flexibility and, again, that pelvic placement, articulation through the hip for men. So what we'll do is we have started in what we call the middle zone. So his pelvis is placed. He's using this dowel to emphasize the hip articulation, but also to give us a sense of when the pelvis might go into more of a posterior tilt. And it also gives us a very good visual aid as teachers to see if the pelvis goes into the posterior tilt. So from here, as extends his legs, so he's going to extend his legs up to the ceiling, you'll notice how the pelvis goes into the posterior tilt simply because of the tightness. So what I'd like for him to do is place the pelvis, bend from the hips, and there's a placed pelvis. So we don't want to move the body forward or back, because then we don't have the plumb line through the legs down into the hip. So this is the perfect placement for him. Likewise, as he flexes from the hip and the knee, so bend the legs down, exactly. At the end range, there's a tendency for the pelvis to tilt up, and then place the pelvis down and extend back to the middle range. So we're going to work in that middle range. So it's an exhale to flex from the hips, inhale to extend, and again, exhale to flex from the hips, and inhale, extend. Try to get the ribs down as well, and flex, and extend the legs up, and hopefully increasing that range of motion with each repetition, and extending up through the heels. A couple more times, feeling the fold, and extend up, last time, and fold, and extend up. Good. And see if you can extend the legs a little bit further. Good. And then feel the weight of the bar, press the pelvis down. Nice. And then from here, work your feet and ankles. So let's press up to a releve. So press up through the balls of the feet and then flex the heels. And again, so it's a lot of work to keep that pelvis down. And flex, and just two more times, press up to releve, and flex, last time pressing up, and he's looking at his ankle alignment. Flex, and you can see how this left ankle is slightly more pronated than the right. And again, press up, and flex, and then press up to releve one more time. And then from here, come to your turned out position. So the heels are together, toes are apart. Good. And externally rotate from here. And then again, try to feel the weight of the bar, press the pelvis down. Exactly. And let's bend from the hips, coming down. Good. And do you feel how when you bent your legs, the pelvis settled down into the mat? So only extend the legs up, keeping that pelvic placement. And extend up. And again, bend, and extend, and bend, and extend. And as you exhale, try to settle the ribs down as well. Nice. And one more, flexing from the hips, not the knees. And extend up. Nice. And then draw the legs back together. So the more challenging position for you is going to place the heels on the bar, but it also gives wonderful feedback through the hip joint. So place the heels on the bar, flex the ankle joints, and try to place it so you're right in the center of the heel bone. Right there, exactly. And then evenly flex the ankles, that's it. And then bend just to the point where you feel the pelvis is down on the mat. Good, so that would be your starting point. Inhale, extend up just a couple of inches, and exhale, focus on that flexion. And again, extend up and then deepen the flexion with each repetition. And down. Good. Looking at your feet, looking at your ankles, looking at your knee alignment. Two more times. Deeper flexion through the hips, a little deeper fold. And up and fold. Good. And then release. release the feet from the bar. Good, and extend the legs out on the mat. Good, and hopefully as you extend the legs this time, it gives you a little more sense of the pelvic placement and what's happening through the hips. So how does that feel?
A lot better.
Good, wonderful. All right, so again, this is a wonderful place to work flexibility, hip articulation with men and with women. Anyone who's tight through the back line, this is my go-to piece of equipment.